Namaste. Today we will be talking about one of the very important aspects of Bharatiya life, and it is like it's something that is related to celebrations. Today we will be talking about festivals. See, celebration is a part of Indian life, Bharatiya lifestyle, that so much so that every day almost is a celebration, and life itself is a celebration in Bharat. So our rishis had fixed a beautiful timetable, a calendar for the whole year, and these were called as parvas. See, the word parva is associated with peak. I'm sure all of you will be relating to it, because parvata means a mountain. So parva means peaking. So most of the Indian languages, parva is also associated with festivals, that is Tyohar or Habba in Kannada, many other languages, many other things we say. But parva is also one common word which is there across Bharat, because these celebrations of these festivals is something that is, when something is peaking, we celebrate. Like if you look at the Indian calendar, Bharatiya Panchanga, I don't call it calendar, because calendar just gives you maybe the year, month, date, and somewhere little bit of the weekday, that's all. Whereas Panchanga has got much more deeper than all these things, many more things which are much more deeper. It's not just a simple calendar. Okay, so but Bharatiya Panchanga, if you look at it, we have 6 seasons. Not like other places like 4 seasons, we have 6 seasons, and 12 months are divided into 6 seasons, 2 each for every season. And during these 2 months, when the season begins, season peaks, and season, like maybe it maintains a particular level of equality, then it falls down. So there are 3-4 phases of the season. So depending upon the season, the festivals are placed exactly on this waveform, and that is why it is called parva. Like for example, shortly, like on Ugadi, the next season of Vasanta is beginning, but just before that we already have the Vasanta Habba. Holi and other Vasanta Habba is done much before that, because there is a crossover from the previous season to the next season, and then the season begins, and then it peaks. So Vasanta Ritu, the beginning of Vasanta Ritu, the first day is Ugadi, and Ugadi is also like the first day of our Bharatiya Panchanga. So the year begins on Ugadi, like that. So if you look at it like that, we go on every month. So this parva is based on a peak, the peaking of the season, and also it may not be exactly the peak. It is taking off to a peak, it is leveling at a peak, or coming down from the peak. So different stages, different festivals are placed. So this is because we are celebrating the season along with the nature. That is the celebration of. And do you know how many festivals we have in Bharat? Actually, if you look at it, in 12 months we have 33 festivals minimum. This is the minimum I am talking about. In north, if you go, it's always told as 33 Tyohar, 33 festivals. But many people in Bharat, if I ask them today, can you please count the festivals? Many of them cannot count over 15. So the other 15 to 18 festivals almost have been forgotten, and locally in some places they are being celebrated by people still. Okay, but these 33 festivals in 12 months, there are 33 occasions for us to celebrate, and celebrate the particular season. Every season has got its own set of festivals. So this is what the festivals are. Now, why are the seasons associated with the festivals? Because every season has got its own Ritucharya. Ritucharya is you have to like adopt to the particular season and make certain changes in your lifestyle according to the season. That is Ritucharya. For example, during Ugadi, we distribute Bevu Bella, that is neem and good, jaggery. These two we give, and on Ramanavami, 9 days later, we give each other what is known as Koshambir, which is a very beautiful kind of a salad, and then we give Panakam made out of bale. Panakam is cooling to the body, and we also distribute buttermilk, which is once again cooling to the body. That is because Vasanta Ritu has begun, but the season of heat, increasing of heat happens in the whole thing. It's almost like summer, whereas peaking of summer will happen in another 2 months time. So before we get into the peaking of summer, we are preparing our body. So from this time onwards, we need to consume some things which are cooling to the body, which will increase the cooling factor inside the body. So Panakam, Majjige, also like Kosambari, and Bevu Bella, like the bitter and sweet both put together. These kind of things are to be consumed more during this time. So this is like a Ritucharya. We have a Ritucharya associated with every festival. Similarly, you can see during the Sankranti festival, we distribute what is known as the sesame seeds. Sesame seeds, that is, in various forms it is distributed across India. For example, in Karnataka, we call it Yellu Bella. What we do is we add sesame seeds, groundnut seeds, and dried copra along with jaggery. Okay, all this is added and a mixture is made, and we give it to others and take from others also. That from that day onwards till Ratha Saptami, we have to consume this particular mixture. That is because it is during the peaking of the Shishira Ritu. Shishira Ritu is for dry, it is dry climate. The skin becomes dry, the body becomes dry, the lips become dry, and we get those cracks in our feet, lips, and all that. Chapping happens. So during that time, if we consume things like, say, sesame seeds, groundnut, peanut, as well as dry copra, the oil content in the body increases and this dryness is taken care of. So every festival has got something associated with the Ritucharya. Similarly, for all festivals it is available. This kind of a, some kind of a, give and take during the festival is for Ritucharya. So that 15 days or 10 days we have to follow that particular diet or that particular food. So this is first thing, the Ritucharya is taken care of with the why this festival, then we tell why this festival. This is because it is, peaking and leveling and coming down. So we have to have certain points, mark certain points where we are celebrating, and from there onwards we are following the Ritucharya. So why, and then Ritucharya. Next, the third one. Every festival is associated with a beautiful Purana story from the Puranas, stories from maybe from the Mahabharata or Itihasas, Mahabharata or Ramayana, or from the 36 Puranas, the Mahapuranas or maybe Upapuranas. There are a lot of stories that are there, and these stories, every festival has got one story, and each story will have its own takeaway. It's a takeaway that we have to listen to the story, and then we will understand there are a lot of things. The other aspect of the festival is the spiritual aspect, and those spiritual secrets are embedded in these stories. So when you listen to these stories in a very, very intently, when you listen to these stories, you will understand, or you can catch the spiritual aspect of the particular festival also. Then there is a what you call as achara. something that we do, that achara, like wearing of new clothes. Some festivals we wear new clothes. Not all festivals we wear new clothes. Some festivals we wear new clothes. Some festivals we take a head bath. Some festival like applying oil and then complete abhyanga we do on some festivals. We don't do it for every festival, isn't it? So this is because that achara is also related with some of the maybe Rutucharya or some of the other aspects, and this achara is also supposed to be followed during every festival. We burst crackers during Deepavali, and today modern mindsets and maybe a little bit of this what you can call not properly directed, some people are against bursting of crackers. Yes, I too agree that we should not be polluting this planet, but at the same time, why was the Deepavali celebrated with bursting of crackers? We should understand this. Deepavali happens immediately after the rainy season, and there are a lot of ponds and pools that have happened across, and a lot of mosquitoes and other insects are there during that time. And during the bygone days, our people used to burst crackers made of sulfur, not crackers made of phosphorus like today's modern crackers. And this sulfur infused crackers, and they were simple crackers made out of maybe coconut leaf, palm leaf. They would fill some little bit of sulfuric explosives inside this properly folded palm leaf, or maybe even paper, and then it will have a small phosphorus wick to just ignite it, and these kind of crackers were used. And of course the nice ones which the children used to use, they used to also have a very good range of other naturally available crackers. Like for example, our people used to use starch and gum, natural gum which is available, to make the the explosive attached to that metal rod to make crackers. But today it is not like that. Today everything has become phosphorus based crackers. So what I would say is, instead of just getting rid of telling people to stop bursting crackers, I would say that let us start, just like we have started organic farming, we should start organic festival celebrations, and we can actually educate the manufacturers to start the sulfur based, more of sulfur based crackers, and that could be something. And when you burst these sulfur based crackers, the insects, they are taken care of. It's a biocontrol of the insects. Even today in many remote areas, when there are a lot of pests in the farm or in agriculture field, they call these people who burst crackers. There is a community, there's a jati which makes crackers everywhere across India, and these people make crackers out of sulfur. They come and burst these crackers, sulfur based crackers, and the pests are taken care of. They don't be there. So for pest control also, crackers were burst. It is not just only during Deepavali, but Deepavali is a time when there is maximum number of insects all around. You can see this every evening during Kartik Masa. Every evening insects will just rise out of the ground. They'll start coming out. There will be a lot of insects. That is why from Deepavali up to even Kartik Amavasya, the whole month, there are different occasions when we have to burst crackers. So we need to understand this achara also. Why this achara was done? Why were these acharas? So there is one, why this festival, then there is Rutucharya, then there is a Purana story behind it, and then there is an achara, and then there is a socio-economic aspect. These people as I told you, there is a community which makes crackers. So this community, for them, the whole month of Kartik Masa, the whole month of Kartika is for them, reserved for them. They get they make their like living out of that particular month. And then like that, individually every festival has been associated with 1 or 5 or sometimes even 10 to 15 different artisans each festival, and these artisans, whatever they make, it is given and taken, like proffering and receiving happens during these festivals. So that is socio-economic aspect of it. Then we also, as I told you, spiritual aspect is already there, the spiritual aspect. So these are various aspects of the festival. To understand more on this, maybe you can take one of my workshops that I conduct on festivals, which is like maybe it can run into 2 days, Saturday like maybe 3-4 hours, and the whole of Sunday. So if you attend that kind of a workshop, I usually cover most of the festivals in a very systematic and a proper structured way. So this is just a brief introduction about Parvas or festivals.